My great-aunt Eleanor was the richest person in our family. Not by a little, by a lot. She never married, never had children of her own. Instead, she poured everything into her business. Started with a small boutique in the 1970s, grew it into a chain, then a brand, then an empire. By the time I was born, she owned 37 stores across the country and properties in 3 different states. I never cared about the money. I cared about her. She was the one who taught me to sew when I was 7. The one who let me help in her studio, handing her pins and thread while she worked. The one who told me stories about the old days, about building something from nothing, about never giving up. My mother's side of the family, my Aunt Patricia and my cousins Lila and Lily, they cared about the money. A lot. They visited Eleanor often, always with smiles and compliments and hands out. Can we borrow the beach house? Just for a weekend. Can you help with Lila's tuition? Just this once. Can you invest in Lily's business? It's a sure thing. Eleanor helped. She always helped. She was generous to a fault. But I noticed something. After they left, she'd sit quietly, staring out the window. She never said anything negative about them. She didn't have to. I could see it in her eyes, the exhaustion, the disappointment, the quiet sadness of being loved for what you have instead of who you are. I was different. Not because I'm a saint, but because I genuinely loved her. I'd spend weekends at her house just sitting with her, reading, talking, watching old movies. I never asked for anything. She tried to give me things, jewelry, money, a car, and I always refused. Keep it, I'd say. You earned it. She'd smile that real smile, the one she saved just for me. You're the only one who sees me, she whispered once. The only one who ever has. I didn't know then how important those words would become. Great-aunt Eleanor died 6 months ago, peacefully in her sleep. I got the call at 3 a.m. and drove straight to her house, arriving just as the sun was rising over the garden we'd planted together years ago. The funeral was huge. Business partners, employees, friends, and family all there to say goodbye. Patricia gave a speech about what a blessing Eleanor had been to the family. Lila cried dramatically. Lily took photos for social media. I sat in the front row, silent, holding the handkerchief Eleanor had given me years ago. The one she'd embroidered herself with tiny flowers. After the funeral, Patricia announced that the reading of the will would happen in 2 weeks. At Eleanor's estate, with all family members present. Be there, she said, looking directly at me. This concerns everyone. Her tone made my stomach tighten, but I nodded. I had nothing to hide. I never wanted anything from Eleanor except her love. 2 weeks later, I drove to the estate. The house was full of people, Patricia, Lila, Lily, a few cousins I barely knew, and a lawyer I'd never seen before. He was thin, stern, with glasses that caught the light and made his eyes impossible to read. Please sit, he said. We'll begin shortly. Patricia sat at the head of the table, like she already owned the place. Lila and Lily flanked her, identical smirks on their faces. I sat at the opposite end, alone. The lawyer opened a thick folder and began reading. Small bequests first, money to charities, gifts to old friends. Then came the main distribution. To my niece Patricia, I leave the sum of $500,000. Patricia's smile faltered. She'd expected more. To my great-niece Lila, I leave the sum of $200,000. Lila's face fell. To my great-niece Lily, I leave the sum of $200,000. Lily stopped smiling altogether. The lawyer paused. The room was silent. To my great-niece Zunri, I leave the remainder of my estate, including all properties, businesses, and assets, estimated at approximately $47 million. I couldn't breathe. The room erupted. Patricia stood up, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. That's impossible. That's completely impossible. The will is clear, the lawyer said calmly. She manipulated Eleanor. She spent all that time with her, brainwashed her, turned her against her own family. That's not true, I said, my voice shaking. I never asked for anything. I just loved her. Loved her. Patricia laughed bitterly. You loved her money. You played the long game, pretended to be the sweet, caring one, and now you're walking away with everything. Lila joined in. Everyone knows you were after her fortune. You think we didn't notice? All those weekends, all those visits. You were planning this for years. Lily nodded. She probably forged the will. It's the only explanation. The lawyer raised a hand. The will has been verified by 3 separate experts. There's no evidence of forgery. Then they were paid off, Patricia snapped. She has money now. She can buy anyone. I stood up, my hands trembling. I didn't forge anything. I didn't manipulate anyone. Eleanor loved me, and I loved her. That's all. That's convenient, Patricia said. Very convenient. The cousins were whispering now, shooting glances at me full of venom. I felt like a criminal in my own family's home. There's one more thing, the lawyer said, pulling something from his folder. A letter from Eleanor, addressed to all of you. He began to read. To my family. If you're reading this, I'm gone. And I know exactly what's happening in that room right now. Patricia is angry. Lila and Lily are accusing Zunri of manipulation. Everyone is convinced she tricked me. Let me be very clear. No one tricked me. No one manipulated me. Zunri is the only person in this family who ever loved me without wanting something in return. She sat with me when I was lonely. She listened when I needed to talk. She never asked for a single thing. The rest of you took and took and took. Beach houses, tuition, business investments. You never once asked how I was doing. Never once sat with me just to sit. Never once saw me as anything except an ATM. This is not a mistake. This is my choice. If you still doubt, if you still want to accuse her, then I have one more thing for you. Check the security system in the living room. The drone camera I installed last year records everything. Every conversation, every visit, every moment. Watch it. All of it. Then tell me who really loved me. Eleanor. The room went silent. Patricia's face had gone pale. Lila stared at the table. Lily looked like she might be sick. The lawyer looked up. Shall I pull the footage? No one answered. I sat back down, my heart pounding, because I had no idea what was on that footage. But Eleanor did, and she knew exactly what it would show. The lawyer left the room to retrieve the footage. The silence was unbearable. Patricia stared at the wall, her jaw tight. Lila kept glancing at me, then looking away. Lily pulled out her phone, then put it back, then pulled it out again. I sat still, my hands folded, waiting. 20 minutes later, the lawyer returned with a laptop. He set it on the table, facing everyone. The footage is from the past 3 years, he said. I've selected a few key moments, as per Eleanor's instructions. He pressed play. The first video was from 2 years ago. Patricia and Lila sitting in Eleanor's living room. Eleanor looked tired, smaller than I remembered. We need 200,000, Patricia was saying. Lila's business is struggling, and if she doesn't get an infusion soon, she'll lose everything. Eleanor nodded slowly. I'll transfer it tomorrow. Good. And we were thinking the beach house needs renovations. Nothing major, but I'll cover it. Patricia smiled. You're so generous, Aunt Eleanor. The video cut to them leaving. As soon as the door closed, their smiles vanished. She's so easy, Patricia muttered. Lila laughed. Like taking candy from a baby. The room was frozen. The next video was from last year. Lily, alone with Eleanor, crying about her failed business. I just need one more chance. One more investment. Please, Aunt Eleanor. I promise this time it'll work. Eleanor handed her a check. Lily took it, wiped her eyes, and left. In the hallway, she stopped, looked at the check, and smiled. A cold, satisfied smile. Then she pulled out her phone. Got it, she said to whoever was on the other end. 50,000. Easy money. Another video. Patricia complaining to a friend on the phone in Eleanor's garden. She won't live forever. And when she goes, it's all ours. I've made sure of it. That girl Zunri thinks she's special, but she's got nothing. No legal claim. No standing. We'll fight her every step of the way. The friend's voice was muffled. She seems close to Eleanor. Close? Please. She's just playing a role, pretending to be the caring one. But blood is blood. When it comes down to it, family wins. I stared at the screen, my stomach churning. Then came the final video. It was from 6 months ago, just weeks before Eleanor died. I was sitting with her in the garden, the one we'd planted together. She was in a wheelchair by then, weak but still sharp. Zunri, she said, do you ever think about the future? Sometimes, I said. What do you see? I thought about it. I see you healthy. I see us sitting here, years from now, still talking. She smiled. You never ask for anything. What would I ask for? I have everything I need. You have me. I have you. That's the everything. She reached out and took my hand. I wish they were like you. All of them. I wish they just loved me. I love you and Eleanor. That's not going to change, no matter what. She nodded, tears in her eyes. I know. That's why. She stopped. Never mind. That's why what? She shook her head. You'll see. After I'm gone. You'll see. The video ended. The room was completely silent. Patricia was crying. Not sad tears, angry tears. Lila stared at the table, refusing to look up. Lily had her face buried in her hands. The lawyer closed the laptop. I believe, he said quietly, that the footage speaks for itself. No one argued. I stood up slowly. I never wanted this, I said. I never wanted the money. I never wanted to fight. I just wanted her to know she was loved. Patricia looked at me, her eyes red. You think you're so noble. I don't think I'm noble. I think I'm honest. There's a difference. I walked out of that room and didn't look back. The next few weeks were chaos. Patricia tried to contest the will. The footage made that impossible. She tried to sue me personally. The lawyers laughed. She tried to turn the rest of the family against me. Most of them had seen the footage. They knew the truth. One by one, they reached out, apologizing, explaining, making excuses. I listened politely and kept my distance. Lila called 3 times. I didn't answer. Lily sent a long text, full of emojis and fake sentiment. I deleted it. Patricia showed up at my apartment one evening, crying, begging for forgiveness. I opened the door, let her speak, then closed it gently when she finished. I didn't hate them. Hate would have required energy I didn't have. I just didn't care anymore. The estate was overwhelming. $47 million, plus properties, businesses, investments. I hired a team to manage it. Professionals who knew what they were doing. I kept the house where Eleanor had lived, the garden we'd planted, the memories that mattered. I set up a foundation in her name. Scholarships for young women starting businesses. Grants for artists who couldn't afford supplies. Support for the things she'd cared about. Patricia found out and tried to insert herself onto the board. I said no. Lila asked for a loan to restart her failed business. I said no. Lily wanted me to invest in the next big thing. I said no. I wasn't being cruel. I was being clear. Eleanor's money wasn't a toy. It wasn't a reward for good behavior. It was a legacy, and I was going to protect it. A year passed. Then 2. I grew into my new life. Not as a millionaire, as a steward. Someone entrusted with something precious. Patricia stopped calling. Lila moved away. Lily found new people to exploit. The family scattered, broken by their own greed. Sometimes I thought about the footage, about what it had revealed. Not just their cruelty, but Eleanor's wisdom. She'd known. All along, she'd known. And she'd set it up so that after she was gone, the truth would come out. She didn't do it to punish them. She did it to protect me. One evening, I sat in the garden alone, watching the sunset. The same garden where we'd sat together, talking about nothing and everything. "I miss you," I whispered. The wind rustled the leaves. A bird sang somewhere in the distance. "I'm taking care of it. Everything you built. I'm taking care of it." I thought about the video, about her hand in mine, about her words. "You'll see. After I'm gone. You'll see." I saw. Finally, I saw. She hadn't just left me money. She'd left me freedom. Freedom from a family that never loved her. Freedom from people who would have used me up the way they used her. Freedom to build something real, something good, something that mattered. I looked up at the sky, turning pink and gold. "Thank you," I whispered, "for everything." And somewhere, somehow, I felt her smile. At my great-aunt's estate meeting, they accused me of forging her will, until the security drone footage played. And the truth set us all free. Not them. They were trapped in their own greed. But me, finally, completely, beautifully free.